Hello everyone, I invite you to journey with me today through the game Lost Words Beyond the Page. I recently completed the game. It resonated strongly with me. If you've seen my video about how I got into gaming, you will probably see the connection about games having an emotional impact. So here the game begins with a young girl starting a journal.
Hello, journal. Is it okay if I call you that?
This journal is going to be the main narrative framing device for the whole story. So we're working in two layers, so to speak.
Not Dad. He calls me Titch. He's such a numpty head.
You can see straight away that the game has a picture book style to it, which is very appealing, very nicely done. And the idea of hopping and skipping, platforming through the journal entries to convey important information is a really nice idea, I think.
I go get my tea and...
It is something I can see appealing to children in particular, and this game certainly is suitable for all age groups. However, maybe not for very young children because of the darker theme that you will encounter later on.
Dad made his best cake. Mum and Gran started the singing. Ben gurgled along. I blew out the candles. And made a whip.
And here you can see how little blocks of words are being manipulated in line with one of the themes of the game, which is about writing, about constructing things with words, about how words are used in your imagination to build worlds.
Since I was little, I've always dreamed of...
And here we are. She always wanted to be a writer. Now I want to focus in this walkthrough very much on the theme of the game and the building blocks that the writers and designers use to bring across their vision.
No one ever got anything just by wanting it.
Now this is an important set of words from a grandmother. Please remember them because it will crop up later in the game again. These words are very relevant to what happens. As you can see, Izzy clearly has a very strong connection with her grandmother. Here's one of those lovely little touches in the game, bringing the picture book to life.
Fairy tales! Wait!
And yes, it's a fantasy story, a genre we all love.
Fantasy story! So, how do I start my fantasy story? Once upon a time.
Yes, beginning is always the hardest part, they say. If you don't succeed, try again.
Estoria! A place of peace.
And here we are. Suddenly, she has her world, her fantasy world. And you can see here how the journal and Izzy's ideas and thoughts and imagination are beginning to lead us into the story itself. I named her Robyn. It's a very popular name in my part of the world for girls, and I do like red.
In fact, she'd been preparing for it her whole life. For she...
Yes, let's begin the adventure. And here you see Elder Ava, who bears a striking resemblance to Izzy's grandmother. And here's another set of words to give some more attributes to Robyn. These things influence not necessarily the outcome of the story, but how certain scenes are portrayed and what her responses are. And here you see what I mentioned earlier, how the diary is the framing device.
Not too far away, in the land of Estoria.
And we alternate between that and the fantasy world.
There lived a young girl named Robyn. Suddenly, a faint speck of light floated down and began...
The Firefly will play a very important part in the story. And this prologue serves a bit as a tutorial for the basic moves, platforming and otherwise. What would we do without those blocks and platformers? And you'll see that Robyn loves nothing more than sliding down a hillside.
The village is just a bit further down. Wahoo! I love doing that. The bridge was an old, creaky affair.
Her imagination is always working, as you can see.
Shark fins circling below. Phew! We made it, Firefly. And... down! Robyn knew many secret paths back to the village.
And here we are introduced to crouching. But it's not just a boring technical tutorial. We're told at the same time how Robyn sees and interprets the world around her. And another slide. Woohoo!
The old cargo.
And here we are, the lift that will take us up to the village. Isn't it beautiful travelling through that picture book world?
More about fireflies. She'd get herself a book about her village's history. Look, Firefly, home. The warm lights and enticing smells of Elder Ava's hut welcomed her. Elder Ava!
Happy birthday, Robyn.
I've made a new friend.
One of our sacred fireflies. This is a very special thing indeed. Would you fetch me that box, please?
And here we are introduced for the first time to the main mechanic we'll be using throughout the game to manipulate obstacles and items. And it's via commands or spells that are kept in the book Robyn takes with her. As you can see, the left trigger opens the book, and then with R1 you pick the word and use it. This would be easier to do on a PC, obviously with a mouse and cursor. So it's slightly more awkward on a console.
Your training is complete. Congratulations, new guardian of the Fireflies. Use your word magic to get to the Fireflies. That's it! They're accepting their new guardian. At last, I can get a lion.
Forever. And so Robyn became the new Firefly Guardian. But her biggest adventure was yet to come.
And we're back to the journal, and this is a very beautiful entry, so I'll show you quite a bit of it. I hope you enjoy it. Even though by that stage I was beginning to get just a slight bit tired of some of the platforming and moving about manoeuvres.
I've never actually seen a firefly. Do you think that matters, journal? On holiday in Wales, Gran and I would go to the beach and look up at the stars. But one night, we looked down instead. The stars were shining in the water. It was like the sky got flipped upside down. We took off our shoes and socks and waded into the water. As we walked over the pebbles, they glowed beneath our toes. Gran said it was called bioluminescence. Tiny plankton in the water being moved back and forth by the tide. I knew it was just little creatures, but it felt like magic. I got up very early the next morning. I sneaked into the kitchen, got a jam jar, and went down to the shore to where I'd seen the plankton. That evening, I was so excited. I carefully put the jar on my bedside table and waited for the night. But it didn't glow. I was devastated. I showed Gran the jar. She laughed. Gran always says,
You can't put a cork in nature.
they need sunlight and nutrients from the tide.
At the end of this diary entry, there is a sudden and very upsetting event which I'm not showing you, but it spills over into the fantasy world, into what's happening there with Robyn. Because the fantasy world of Estoria reflects her emotional journey in real life. And here I now want to begin talking about the theme, the deeper theme of this game. Most of you have probably heard of Elizabeth Kübler-Ross and her 5 stages of grief, which she explained in her best-selling book On Death and Dying back in 1969. It divides grief into the stages of denial, anger, bargaining, depression, and acceptance. Now, the game uses this basic Kübler-Ross model, but expands it a bit further into 7 stages. In the first chapter, we have basically the tutorial, and we're being shown Izzy's happy world. So that is a childhood happiness. But with chapter 2, we are being thrown into upheaval, and that chapter could be called shock. Izzy is being confronted with a disturbing event concerning her grandmother, and she now has to respond. The first response, of course, is shock and disbelief. But we see already, and we know, that Izzy is a very resourceful and determined young girl, and we have faith that she will be going on a journey that may be difficult, but we will be rooting for her that she will overcome the challenges along the way.
The Fireflies!
Before we delve into Chapter 3, I want to just briefly touch upon the voice acting for Izzy, which many people I've heard really, really enjoy. The voice acting and how it came about is quite a story in itself. The young woman voicing Izzy is called Sidonie Maria Chakalis, and she worked quite a bit on Lost Words, originally as an animator. The voice acting really only happened later by fortuitous circumstance. You can probably tell that she's not a trained professional voice actor, but nonetheless, I think she really pretty much nailed the role of Izzy.
But Robyn would not slow down.
I'm not showing you much of what happened to Gran here in this diary entry, but you can see that she's not well. Izzy clings desperately to funny moments and happy memories of what she and Gran used to get up to and what they enjoyed together, like watching this movie.
When I was little, Gran would show it to me on a battered video cassette. Once she gets out, we're going to watch them all over again. And when the next movie arrives, Gran and I are going to go to the cinema together. And soon, Gran and I will be playing games again.
Izzy is now in the denial stage. She doesn't want to see how unwell Gran really is, and that there is a very clear possibility at her age she's gonna get worse. Denial is, to my mind, always one of the trickiest stages. There are so many complex factors involved. What I like about the story is how it doesn't deny the forces pulling in opposite directions, making it a very confusing and disorientating stage.
What else can I do?
It also portrays how easy it is to maintain a positive facade. Positivity and staying strong are attributes we always prize. Indeed, you can't say it is the wrong thing to do, especially at a stage when you don't know yet what's going to happen. But the belief that you can, however desperately trying to convince yourself that if you can only make the sufferer smile and amuse them so they feel a bit better for a moment, that this might change everything. This is, of course, the tragic flaw in the denial stage.
I must see. No.
What has you so worked up, old windbag?
The past. The past. It stays hidden. It must.
This stage is beautifully set in the desert with a guardian djinn, And Izzy has to contend with him. He keeps pushing her away and puts up obstacles she has to overcome. So there are a few skill-based tasks around platforming and puzzles she has to solve. I found it a very satisfying stage. And what I liked about it in particular was that it wasn't a direct mirror type story to what is happening in her real life. This is a story that stands on its own. It's like a little cameo, but we can also see the intimated connections to the troubles Izzy is facing in her own real-life situation.
I did nothing to aid you.
Everyone deserves a second chance. Or a 10th.
Izzy has 2 tasks. She has to find all the Fireflies, as Elder Ava told her, to be able to restore the village. So they are the seeds of renewal, recovery and renewal. But she is also chasing the dragon. The dragon is the cause of the village destruction. And we'll be talking more about the dragon in forthcoming chapters.
Fall softly, my friend. Knowledge will be yours in time. Use it more wisely than I did.
Hello, Journal. Today at school, I got my history essay back. I wrote about Vikings. I love Vikings. Mr. Collins didn't like it. I won't be showing this to Mum. She has enough to worry about. Vikings are the best. They're tall and strong. They love conquering and fire. Vikings are basically all kinds of awesome. I could really use some awesome right now. Why, Journal? The Jinn's magic gently released her into the unknown. Now where am I?
So Robyn now finds herself in an underground, forbidding-looking area. And as we see here, she has to break through some obstacles in her path. The whole stage is one that presents many platforming and puzzle challenges. However, at this point, I would like to make it clear that none of it is particularly difficult. It provides for a nice, smooth and streamlined playing experience because you do not have to repeat many steps at all. It is quite rare that you will fail at a particular hurdle, and the checkpoints are very generous, so you can instantly repeat. So overall, I would say this game is suitable not just for younger players, but in general for anyone who's maybe not a regular gamer and not maybe that experienced with certain gaming conventions. They should be able to find their way around really quite easily. The only mechanic that is slightly awkward, which I mentioned before, is using the word commands from the book. The process is not as smooth as it would be with a mouse and keyboard, And sometimes the words, as you may have noticed, actually obscure certain areas of the screen, and you have to maneuver the words out of the way to be able to see where you're going or what you're doing.
I need to find whatever is causing this and stop it.
Overall, I found this another enjoyable stage that presents quite different environment challenges compared with the desert stage.
As the sound got closer, Robyn realised she would soon face its maker.
The tension builds up quite nicely here until the vista suddenly opens up and we realise what the source of all the trouble is.
Fire and flame wrapped her form. Hey! Stop that! You'll bring the whole cave down! But the giantess just kept on pounding. Yeah, just ignore me. It's not like I might die over here.
I'm sure you've figured out by now and realised what the environment is telling us about Robyn's and therefore Izzy's state of mind. The boiling hot lava, the enraged giantess, slightly reminiscent of that Viking. There is an obvious and direct correlation here between Izzy's state of mind and the type of adventure that Robyn is going through in her fantasy world. Whoops! Despite that, I did not find the stage boring at all. On the contrary, I was on tenterhooks the whole time, wondering what kind of confrontation Robyn would have with the giant lava figure.
I needed that. Boom!
This was an awkward little Firefly collection point.
No, not again! The whole floor's going to... give way! Ah! I have to stop her. Inside Robyn was a white, hot rage.
It's showdown time, but not quite as you might have expected.
Hey! You! Hey! Whoever you are! You nearly killed me! Hey! Are you listening?
Leave me alone!
No! That's not fair! What is wrong with you?
What's wrong with me?
timely exit! Robyn didn't quite know what she'd encountered. She's so angry. What's wrong with her, I wonder? Whew, I think I need a breather. A place to rest. Robyn was beginning to feel the burn of loneliness. Better.
And here we see Robyn coming to an understanding of the underlying causes of that rage. So in a way, the story is subverting the expectations of a game by not presenting us with a boss fight, but with a different type of conflict resolution.
Robyn vowed to be more understanding if they met again.
From this chapter onwards until the end, I'll be showing you a lot less of both the journal and the fantasy world adventure, for obvious reasons, because I don't want to show you too much of the story. And here we have Izzy doing really boring household chores, something she usually disdains. And I was beginning to wonder why the game was making me pick up every piece of cutlery and crockery and then put it all through the sink and wash every individual item.
It's a miracle. Then he bowed at my feet. He's such a complete numpty head. But it made Mum laugh. So all the things I've been doing have been working.
Izzy is absolutely determined that it's up to her to make things better.
Already? It's only...
This chapter is brimful with wonderful things, from which I'm showing you only one scene.
In the howling void.
Who are you two?
Ooh, ancient ones. Thought you was a myth.
Robyn's companion here is a lump of fire called Lump. Perhaps not the most creative idea for a name, I felt, but never mind. Lump became very important for Robyn in her recent travelling and has been assisting her in a secondary capacity with extra skills. She has grown very fond of Lump and is now facing a difficult decision.
Do it.
What memory are you prepared to consign to the flames?
Robyn has to make a sacrifice here.
I remember getting lost in my favourite book.
No, you don't.
Don't what?
Don't remember. Never mind. Look, this bit can go on forever. The offering has been made.
I'll tell everyone about you. No one will ever forget you again.
How kind of you to say. Now I will return the favour. To get your wish, you must submit an offering of hope to the flames. Something dear to your heart.
Elder Ava gave me this. The pendant gleamed with hopeful memories. I don't know if I should. It was the last thing that she gave me.
A wise person once said, that no one ever got anything just by wanting it.
Okay. You're right. A crack and a spark, and the pendant was gone in the flames. 2 offerings down. 1 to go, and they'll help me follow the dragon under the lake.
The first 2 decisions were tough, but this one is...
Robyn felt a change come over her. Slits opened in her neck. Gills! She could now breathe underwater.
The wish has been granted. Time for us to go.
Hope you like your gift.
Izzy is going through the whole gamut of emotions here. It's all been piling up. But the one important one for this chapter is guilt.
Go back to sleep. But as soon as I close my eyes, the thoughts keep circling back. Breathe. This feels so strange. Wish Lump could have been here. There was nothing I could have done. Was there?
Robyn is now in a huge cave labyrinth underwater. She has to find her way through and find as many fireflies as possible. This was the one stage that, while very beautiful, I found not quite as satisfactory due to slight problems controlling Robyn underwater. Precision wasn't easily achieved, and at a few points that became important.
Narrow for winged beasts. Did I guess wrong? A dead end. I knew it! Wrong tunnel. No. There must be a way. How do I get up there?
I would like to draw your attention to the soundscapes of the game. I think the background sounds are really well done. Every environment has its own highly atmospheric noises, and this underwater labyrinth is really, really spooky and creepy, I think. Now, in a moment, we come to a spot that was the only one that gave me real trouble, and I repeated it several times and simply couldn't get the jump right. As you can see here, the game actually shows us that you need to use rise and jump, and I think they just judged the distance for the jumping a bit too tight, just a tiny margin, and it was rather frustrating. If any of you managed that particular one, please let me know.
Focus. I have to find the dragon. No matter what. Dear Journal. Hi, Journal. Today,
I think you can tell that as from the last chapter, chapter 6, I've been showing you less and less of both the stories, the framing story and the fantasy story. And the reason for that is obviously that I would like you to be able to experience this adventure story and journey for yourself. So I've shown you more of the beginning of the game to give you a real flavour.
Hello, stranger. I've been thinking a lot about... My dream is to become a writer. Yeah, right. A writer who can't even write. Okay. Find something simple to start with. What did I do today? Then surely a solution would present itself. I messed everything up. Let's try this again. Robyn awoke under an old tree in an unfamiliar land. I don't know if I can do this anymore.
I think we all recognise the stage that Robyn is going through here. It's obviously depression. The words tell us all we need to know. Alone, broken, useless. That's how she feels. But we know Robyn is strong, and we believe she can find a way through this. But she is now at the stage where she can't do it alone anymore. She needs help.
Where? I don't see a thing.
I like listening to you. Would you continue?
You do? Oh. Well, okay. It's just...
This is a short chapter, and it consists mainly of a series of conversations and choices with the whale shark. I won't say more than that. I think it's pretty obvious what's going on.
But at some point you knew, right? You had purpose, hope.
Yes!
I just want to comment on the voice of the whale shark, which I found surprising, but when I looked up the voice acting, it made sense. The voice actor is Penelope Rawlins, and she voices both Mum, Izzy's mother, and the whale shark.
I just ended up doing everything wrong.
No one ever got anything just by wanting it. You've got to try. You've got to fail sometimes.
You have a point. It was depressing. That life was dark enough already. Gran always used to say,
Izzy is beginning to find her way out of the labyrinth of depression, and we know what therapeutic value colours can have.
Colours are the music of nature.
I'm starting to see what she meant. So I went to open my wardrobe, grumbling at him for frightening the fish.
Izzy can't help but recall funny stories about her gran.
The laughter bubbled up inside me. Dad tried to look annoyed.
And little by little, these things help. Back in Estoria, Robyn faced her shadow of remorse and is finally able to move on. I'm sorry I was a bit quick there with the text.
Maybe that's okay. You're part of me. Thank you. Now, I will return the Fireflies. I'm coming for you, dragon. With her confidence renewed, a newfound power coursed through her. I feel like I can do anything. Yeah, word magic. Light as a feather. Like cutting through Eldoraven's crab-apple pie. The world welcomed her. Forward! She felt that she could touch the sky. A tall tower loomed overhead. Many moons had shone above since first it was built. Another obstacle? Ha!
Slightly awkward controls here for raising the gate and crawling underneath it at the same time. So Robyn has now passed through the dragon gate and has got into the dragon castle. She needs to fight one last great battle.
Well, that's not disturbing at all. Robyn's voice echoed over the age-old crumbling stones. A lone figure stood, unbowed, defiant. It drew her to it. Her foe rose before her. No breath in its body, but no less terrifying.
Not a battle with traditional weapons like swords and spears, but a battle of thoughts, willpower, and emotions. This is a large kind of temple with many levels and quite a number of puzzles to work your way through. Once again, not difficult, but need to be done properly.
Let's hope I'm up to the task.
I admit I found this a bit dark and scary.
That's it! A gust of fresh air rewarded Robyn's efforts. The tower's purpose: to watch over a long forgotten land.
I don't know about you, but I find this whole Dragon Castle sequence incredibly atmospheric.
But bone and scale and claw, in its fire-wreathed home, waiting. There you are! And here I come! Round 2! Yeah! The world darkened around Robyn. She had reached the Dragon's Mountain. For the first time, Robyn felt no fear. She knew she had all she needed.
I won't show you the grand battle of wits between Robyn and the dragon. That's something that I hope you will do for yourself.
Yes, that's what I've been trying to do.
Ahaha! The great dragon stumped by a little girl.
The contest ends with the dragon granting Robyn one question to be answered, and you can see from the questions provided, they already indicate what has already irrevocably happened to Robyn's and to Izzy's world.
But the Fireflies still remained, waiting for a new beginning. You're rebuilding the world, aren't you? And you're starting with my memories.
I always find paintbrushing with the right analog stick a bit slow and awkward. I don't know whether it's any easier with a mouse, but at least you end up with a really nice picture.
A fruitful work. A remembrance of home. I've run out of fireflies. We're stuck. There's still something missing. Hey, you're still here, Firefly. Can you help? That's it, Firefly. Now you're ready for a new story. And I have to say goodbye too. Thank you, Firefly. I never thought I'd see you again. But you're not really here, are you? That's why the Firefly came to me. They knew too. So, these are my memories of you. I'll hold you close. I'll take you with me. Always. Let's see what adventures lie ahead.
Hello, journal. Reading these dusty pages makes me feel old. I reread them so many times as a kid, taking myself back to those dark moments, reassuring myself it would all be okay. That helped. You helped.
Going through the game again by making this video makes me realise how much they managed to cram into those roughly 5 hours of gameplay as you go through it. I've only been able to show you maybe about 20% of what you find in the game, so there is such a lot to discover, so many different settings and characters that I haven't shown you, so many themes that you can explore that I haven't mentioned. It is a very, very rich tapestry of a game. I love the credits, how they have the same platforming mechanic as in the game, and as you jump through the sequences you uncover extra little illustrations. I think it's lovely and charming, and it livens up the credits, which normally can be a bit dull. But it's wonderful seeing the characters and settings of the game you've just travelled through here in the credits. You can see that a lot of love and attention to detail was put into this game, and that's something I always appreciate. It took me around 5 hours roughly to finish the game on my first run through, so it's not very long. I think it is just the right length for this type of adventure. If it was any longer, it would probably feel stretched or padded, and I don't usually like that. So this was just a perfect length, and there is replay value. In going back, you can unlock individual chapters and go back and complete collecting the Fireflies, or replay for slightly different scene dialogue options. Thank you very much for watching, for accompanying me on this journey. I appreciate it. As always, please keep well. I'm Food for Dogs. Bye-bye.